You're listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe of Torch in Houston, Texas. This is the Parsha Review Podcast.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Parsha podcast. Today's class is dedicated in the memory of Yehoshua ben Yehuda Leib and Sarah bat Yisrael Vileah. These are two wonderful people. I never met them, but I know that they're wonderful because I know their son. Their son and their grandchildren are fabulous people, great and dear friends of mine. And today would have been their 75th wedding anniversary. Today's not the yahrzeit of their passing. Today is the day of their anniversary. So we still, because we bring up their memory, we wish that their neshama have an aliyah, and the Torah that we study today and that we are inspired by should be a merit to their holy and lofty souls. This week's Parsha is so fascinating. The second portion in the book of Exodus, and we start talking about the plagues. The Jewish people, last week's Torah portion, we know that the Jewish people were enslaved, and Moshe becomes their leader, and Moshe is saying, what am I going to do? How am I going to speak to the Jewish people? The Jewish people don't listen to me. You think Pharaoh's going to listen to me? Pharaoh's for sure not going to listen to me. And this is the whole discussion that's going on, the conversation that's going on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good morning. That's going on between Moshe and God is really fascinating. And then we know that we have the 10 plagues. 7 of the 10 plagues are in this week's Torah portion, and the final 3 are in next week's Torah portion, Parshas Bo. So we learn this every single year. We learn through these Torah portions. We see about the plagues, and we're like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat how Hashem took care of them. And then we also have this at our Pesach Seder. We talk about what happened to the Jewish people in Egypt, and we recall all of the slavery and the bondage, and we talk about the difficulty of serving God when you're not a free person. And then we talk about how God saves us with an outstretched arm. God took us out of Egypt. He gave the Egyptians 10 severe plagues, which according to our sages was 250 actual plagues. Because imagine if your wife bakes you a birthday cake and suddenly you're really, really thankful for that delicious birthday cake, but then you cut open the cake and there's a frog in there. Imagine you're going to blow a fit. What is this, a joke? Right? So you start slapping the kids, and then the kids go out to the playground, and they're fighting, and there are now gangs, and you think of all the different, the outcome of one plague was really many, many more multiples of plagues that came out of each and every plague. What's there really for us to learn about from all of these plagues? What do we really learn from these plagues? So, of course, we know that everything is the hand of Hashem. Everything is the hand of Hashem. We shouldn't see anything as a guarantee. You see, there are many people who have all the confidence in the world that my health is going to be so strong. I'm going to live forever and ever because I'm so careful with what I eat. I'm so careful with my diet. I'm so careful with my exercise. I'm going to live forever. I have a very, very close, dear friend who passed away. He was the healthiest 75-year-old I've ever met. I mean, he was a big cyclist. He would ride his bike, I don't know, maybe 100 miles every morning. He had a group of people and sadly, one beautiful morning, he went riding with his friends. He didn't see a tree stump that was on the path. He hit himself on the head, and he was like that. God took him away. Tragic story. I was so sad to hear it. I was so sad to be at his funeral. It was really, really sad. But here's a guy who's so strong, so confident, and then it disappears. So I want to read to you a piece of Talmud, a fascinating piece of Talmud. The Talmud is in tractate Chagigah, and the Gemara brings from Rabbi Yossi. Tanya, Rabbi Yossi Omer. There was a brisa that was taught. Rabbi Yossi says, Oy lehem labrios shiros ve'enam yodos maros. Woe to those people who see, but do not realize what they are seeing. You imagine what happened to Pharaoh the night before the plagues began. It's like, think of Maduro, the night before he was Maduroed. right? You think about that. Like, everything seems normal. Everything seems quiet. It's calm. Look, the water is beautiful in the Nile, right? All the animals are where they're supposed to be. Everything is just perfect. And suddenly, it's not. What does the Gemara say? Woe to those who see but do not realize what they are seeing. Omdos ve'in yodos al mahin omdos. Those who stand but do not realize upon what they are standing. Ha'oretz al ma omedes. The earth, upon what does it stand? Al ha'amudim, upon the pillars. Shenemar hamar gives eretz bimkoma v'amudea yispalotzun. As it says, who shakes the earth from its place? It and its pillars tremble. Amudim alamayim, the pillars stand upon the waters. Shenem alaroka oretz alamayim. So those pillars that shake the world, what are they standing on? They're standing on the water. And he brings a verse because it says, Laroka oretz alamayim, to him who spread out upon the earth upon the waters. Mayim, what are the waters on? Al-Harim, the waters stand upon the mountains. Shenemar al-Harim yamdu mayim. As it states, upon the mountains stand water. Harim beruach, the mountains, what do they stand on? They stand on the wind. Shenemar kihine yotzer harim uvore ruach. Because the verse states, for behold, he forms mountains and creates wind. Ruach sa'ara, the wind. What does it stand on? It stands upon the storm. Shenema ruach sa'ara osedvoro. As the verse states, the wind, the storm, does its bidding. Sa'ara tluya b'zrei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And what does the storm stand on? The storm is suspended from the arm of the Holy One, blessed is He. I don't understand anything from this Talmud. Like, literally nothing. It just doesn't make... What's really going on over here? Right? We're saying, woe to creation that they don't even understand what they're standing on. What are they standing on? They're standing on the world is standing on pillars. The pillars standing on water. The water is standing on the mountain is standing on the wind is standing on the storm. But don't worry, it's standing in the hands of Hashem. What did we become smarter from this Talmud? What did we learn from this Talmud? We learned something that is critically important. And that is, you have nothing to worry about. Because at the end of the day, Hashem controls everything. You understand, when you go down to the end of it, what do you see? It's all the hand of Hashem. Hashem is the one who's holding the keys. Everything is in the hands of Hashem. So yeah, while I might not understand what I'm standing on, I do know I'm standing in the hands of Hashem. While I don't understand how the earth balances itself, I know it's the hand of Hashem. Means even though each individual step I don't understand, it doesn't even make sense to me, but I know one thing is that the storm is in the hand of Hashem, meaning the whole world, the life that we live, the storm that we face every single day, is the hand of Hashem. It's all the hand of Hashem. There's a story that's told about Rabbi Yankel Galinsky. Rabbi Yankel Galinsky was once traveling. He used to travel a lot to the United States, around the world, to raise money for Torah institutions in Israel. And one time he comes to someone's house, he walks out and he sees this. The house looks like a palace. He knocks on the door, and the daughter opens up, and she says, "My father's not home." So he says out loud, "Oy Binyamin, if you're not here when you're here, then where are you going to be when you're not here?" Meaning, he was there sitting on the side. He tells his daughter, "Tell him I'm not home. Tell him I'm not home." He says, if when you're here, you're not here, when you're not here, where are you going to be? You're not going to be anywhere. It's going to be even worse. It's going to be tragic. So the person ended up bringing him in, sitting down with him. He gave him a nice donation. But he says to him, what you said really is frightening. What do you mean? When I'm here, I'm not here. But I'm not here. See, he says, we have this sort of confidence that what we have is ours. I have my money. But what's if your money loses you? What's if you're gone? He says, we're so confident that what we have is ours. But what's if the things that are ours are going to lose us? Meaning, we can go like this. Yeah, maybe your money will stick around, but maybe you won't. We're so confident. The Talmud says an amazing thing. Tanya, Rabbi Lezer Agadol Omer, Rabbi Lezer the Great would say, Kol mi sheyesh lo pas b'salu v'omer ma ochal l'machar. Anybody who has bread in his basket and says, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Eino elo miktani amuna. He's one of those who have little faith. What does that mean? You see, here's the problem. I'll tell you. Someone posted a video, a message on their status. I saw last week. It was a little shocking. It was jarring. He brought a quote from a midrash. The midrash says that there's going to come a time right before the Messiah where all wealth will be removed from the world and the entire generation will be destitute. So it gives you oh my gosh, okay? It's like, imagine sudden inflation. Does it make a difference how much money you have in your mattress? It's like not going to be worth anything. Right? Gold, nobody's going to be able to buy it. So what's it going to make a difference? And you suddenly get into this what's going to be? No, a person shouldn't think that way. A person should know everything is always the hand of Hashem. We're always in the hand of Hashem. And this is the lesson that we need to learn from the plagues. What do we learn from the plagues? We learn from the plagues that is all the hand of Hashem. That's what we learn from it, that everything in this world Hashem has control of. In fact, our sages teach us in the Midrash that God specifically chose these things because all of the heretics, all of the non-believers in Egypt said, we control the water. We control the atmosphere. We control the animals. We control the night and the darkness. We control everything. God picked each and every element of the world to show they have no control over any of it. It's all the hand of Hashem. You see, this is the greatness of learning the Parsha the way our sages teach it. Because it opens up a whole new perspective to how we're meant to look at life. You see, does anybody here have a problem-free life? No, we all have issues. We have one makkah, one plague or another plague, one form of plague or another form of plague. This one, it's their job. This one, it's their livelihood. This one, it's their marriage. This one, it's their children. This one, it's their own personal illness. This one, it's a family, it's a friend, it's a neighbor. Everyone has got something. So what do? Have this plague, and you know who's causing it? It's that person, or it's that person, it's this one, it's that one. We can point, it's my doctor, it's the medicine, it's the insurance. Everyone has blame. And a person could live their entire lives, each one of us individually, respectively, blaming everybody else. You know why I'm not successful? It's because that person abused me when I was a child. You know why I didn't get that job? Because that HR person didn't like me, and they just were sticking it to me. And then you know what? You know why that one, this one, that one? We're pointing fingers to everyone. Instead of learning this week's Parsha, we learn you look up, and everything is from Hashem. Hashem is pulling all of the strings. Hashem is showing us, look. This is where you need to go. There were many, many Jews who were in Egypt who didn't like what was going on with all of these miracles. So Hashem says, you know what? It's probably better for you not to enter into the land of Egypt. It's probably better for you not to be 40 years in the desert. If you're so small in your belief and knowledge of Hashem, it's probably not a good idea. It says that a great percentage of the Jewish people died during the plague of darkness, so that the Egyptians shouldn't mock the Jews who died. They didn't see anything. They were frozen in time, in darkness. The Jewish people died. They were buried. And only those who were believers left Egypt. What we have is we have the ability to see our own Egypt, our own plagues, our own bondage to our own selves. We have a flaw that we can allow to take hold if we aren't conscious about recognizing that everything is from Hashem. Let me ask you a question. We said the Talmud says that someone who has bread in his basket and asks, where's my bread coming from tomorrow? He's from those who don't have proper faith in God. Why is that so? Like, I'm worried. Tell me, are you worried about how you're going to pay your electric bill next month? How you're going to pay your mortgage next month? No, I'm worried about this month. But who's going to take care of this month? The same person, the same creator who's going to take care of it this month, who gave you this piece of bread in your bag, is the same one who's going to take care of it next month. And the same one who took care of it every single day of your life. You know, we mentioned in a previous episode, we talked about how anyone over the age of 70, you must stand up for them. You hear this, Ira? Anybody over the age of 70, you need to stand up for them. Why? Because they have wisdom. And we value wisdom, you stand up for them. You know what wisdom people get by the time they're 70? They realize that they had 70 years that they needed to maintain their lives. They needed to feed themselves. They needed to pay those tuition payments. They needed to make those payments for mortgage or rent. They needed to sustain their lives. And by that time, you realize it's all Hashem anyway. Who am I fooling? Who am I kidding? We think we're in control. We know we're not in control. By that time, we know already we're not in control. And that's the wisdom that we respect. Because you come to someone at that age, you ask them for advice, they'll give you advice that's quite different than they would have given you when they were 20 years old. Because they have a bigger picture now. They have a bigger perspective where they can say, you know something? Don't waste your time with small stuff. Focus on the big stuff. Focus on the things that are important. Focus on the things that are value. Don't focus on the things that are a waste of time, that are useless, things that are fleeting. Pharaoh was a person who was dedicated to the here and now. He didn't see a bigger picture. Right now, everything looks fine. When he looked out, he saw those animals, he saw the Nile, he saw everything. Everything is great. He didn't see what the world stands on. He didn't see the layers and layers upon which everything rests on the hand of Hashem. Everything is on the hand of Hashem. You look at the soil. What is the soil? You look at it, it looks like some dirt, some rocks. Well, what is it? It's all a creation of Hashem. You can look at the food that you eat and you say, oh, I love this brand, the best food. It's organic, it's healthy, whatever it may be. You have to realize this is a creation of Hashem. This is something that Hashem gave us. Always linking it to the source. Every single benefit, every single joy, every single pleasure, the Talmud says, that a person enjoys from this world, you have to thank Hashem for it. Recognize the source. The pleasure that you have is not just the pleasure that you got from someone or from something. It's from Hashem. And this is the lesson we need to learn from the plagues. Everything is the hand of Hashem. And we need to ensure that we always link it back to Hashem. Not to take the personal, that it's me, look at my wisdom, look at my business, look at my intelligence, look at my skill, look at my talent. Where do you get that talent? With one flip of a switch, that's gone. It's gone. So where does that talent come from? It comes from the gifts Hashem has given us. We can never, ever forget this, which is why every single day we have a mitzvah to recite the Shema. What do we say in the Shema? Remembering that Hashem took us out of Egypt. Why is it so important? Because we remember what is the purpose of everything. To remove slavery from our lives. Any type of slavery. Some people could be slaves to, my children were very excited yesterday about the Texans. But there are people who are, it's not, I wouldn't even call it an addiction. It's a religion. It's an idolatry to sports. It's an idolatry to money. It's an idolatry to fashion. It's an idolatry to materialism. We say every day, remember, Ani Hashem Elokechem, Asher etziticha me'eretz Mitzrayim. I am Hashem, your God, that took you out of Egypt. Hashem Elokechem emet. You want to know the only thing that's true? You want to know the only thing that lasts forever? That's Hashem. We have a constant in our life. Our parents, hopefully all of our parents, live to 120 in good health. But that's it. It's 120 is the max. Do you know who's forever? That's Hashem. So we can put our trust in so many things that are fleeting, or we can put our trust in eternity. And Hashem gives us those tools in His Torah. Hashem gives us those tools in His mitzvahs. That is our eternity. Hashem should bless us all to have that eternity in our Shabbos. Our Shabbos is part of that. The observance of Shabbos is connecting with the eternity of the world. It's removing all of our worldly pursuits and focusing in on God. That's what Shabbos is. Shabbos is an opportunity for us to get rid of all of our distractions. We put down the phone, we put down the television remote, we put down the computer, we put down the radio, we put down the car, we put down everything. Now Hashem, I'm investing in my relationship with you. I'm investing in my relationship with my spouse. I'm investing in my relationship with my children, my relationship with my community. I'm not going out there now. I'm in the zone. The whole week we're distracted with so many different things. Shabbos, how do they call it? Zen. You get into the frame of mind. We get into the state. There's this whole thing with 6-7. I'm sure you've all heard about this. So I saw some rabbi, he says, if you have teenage children, you'd know about this whole 6-7 thing. You know, David, right? So I saw a rabbi, he says, you know what 6-7 is? 6-7 is 6 is the 6th day of the week, 7 is Shabbos. He says we use the 6th day to prepare ourselves, get ready for Shabbos. He says that's what it's all about, getting ready for Shabbos. And every day of the week leading up towards Shabbos. Every day. Sunday. You know what we call Sunday in Hebrew? Yom Rishon. Why? Because it's the first day to Shabbos. You know what we call Monday? There's no names to the days. Every day of the week is a number. Day 1 to Shabbos, day 2 to Shabbos, day 3 to Shabbos. That's what we call. In Hebrew, you ask someone, how do you say Tuesday in Hebrew? Yom Shlishi. The third day to Shabbos. Because our central focus as Jews is the time that we have our closeness with Hashem without interruption. God tells us in the beginning of the world, the creation of the world, Sheishet Yamim Ta'avod Vasita Kol Melachtecha. 6 days work. No Sundays off. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every day work. Yom HaShvi, but the day of Shabbos is a day of rest. It's a time to just bask in your closeness, in your relationship with Hashem. It's a time to be, not to do. Shabbos is not a day to do. Shabbos is a day to be. Just be. My dear friends, have a magnificent Shabbos.
You've been listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe on a podcast produced by Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. Please help sponsor an episode so we can continue to produce more quality Jewish content for our listeners around the globe. Please visit torchweb.org to donate and partner with us on this incredible endeavor.